semi-technically describe a flowering plant. So far we have discussed about the various parts of a flowering plant like roots, stem, leaves as well as flowers. And also we have come across many terms and terminologies in the previous classes. So when we put all those terminologies together here, we can semi-technically describe a flowering plant, right? So we have to start to describe the flowering plant from its habit. So habit in the sense, so the nature of stem, whether it is herbs or shrubs or trees. So first we start describing a flowering plant from its habit. After habit, we will be describing its vegetative characters like roots. So roots na describe ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ what type of roots are present. Then we go towards the stem. We will describe the stem. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ modifications ಇದೆಯಾ ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾದರೂ special features ಇದೆಯಾ of that flowering plant, we will describe that. Then we will describe its leaves. Leaves na describe ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. And here flower, we also describe about the flower. Also different floral whorls. So calyx, corolla, androecium, gynoecium, everything we will be describing regarding to that particular flowering plant. So you can have various morphological features utilize ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. And also we will describe that flowering plant by drawing the floral diagram as well as floral formula. So here we will draw the floral diagram as well as the floral formula to describe that particular flowering plant. ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ you will come to know in further classes. So floral diagram is nothing but the diagrammatic representation of different floral whorls like calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium na ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಒಂದು schematic ಆಗಿ representation ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, and the diagrammatic representation is called as floral diagram. And also different whorls ಯಾವ ತರ relationship ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ with each other and how they are arranged with respect to the mother axis. Mother axis here in the sense the shoot on which the flower is born is called as the mother axis. So ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ arrangement ಆಗಿದೆ, that and all we come across the floral diagram. And floral formula ಅಂದಾಗ presence or absence. So ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯ ಒಂದು different structures present ಇದೆ. If they are present, they are termed by other names. Say for example, if the bracts are present, that flower is called as bracteate flower. If it is absent, ebracteate. But it becomes very difficult to describe that flowering plant. So if we go on describing those flowering plants by these terms and terminologies, we need pages together. Instead of that, we will be giving some symbols. So that is called as floral formula. So different terms we are describing, and to those different terms we will be giving the symbols that is nothing but the floral formula. So now let us look what this floral formula is. So one by one, outside in. So let us start from the bracts. You people know that if the flower is bearing, this is the flower. Let me draw rough sketch of this flower. This is the bract pedicel having, and at the tip of this pedicel highly condensed structure called as thalamus is present, above which we can find the presence of calyx, corolla, then comes corolla, and then androecium as well as gynoecium is present. So even the different floral characters describe ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ different symbols ನ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. Those flowers which is bearing bracts are called as bracteate flowers. So those flowers which are bearing bracts are called as the bracteate flower. So it is difficult to actually write all these words in detail. So instead of writing full word this bracteate flower, here we take these two letters as a symbol. So starting two letters we are taking and considering that as a symbol. So those flowers which are bearing bracts are called as bracteate flower. So capital B but small r baradre, this symbolizes, this represents the bracteate flower. And what do we call for the flower which do not have bracts? That is called as ebracteate flower. So the flower without bracts are called as ebracteate flower. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು starting letters That means, so here capital E, capital B, small r represents E brachiate flower. And then next we have to describe whether the flower is actinomorphic or zygomorphic. Actinomorphic in the sense a flower can be divided into two equal halves when cut on any vertical plane. So that can be ಆ ಒಂದು ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ನ ನಾವು ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ, ಸೊ ಆಕ್ಟಿನೋಮಾರ್ಫಿಕ್ ಅಂದಾಗ ನಾವು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಬರೆದು here we will write a circle, inside which we write the plus symbol. Plus symbol na ಬರೀತೀವಿ within this circle. So this symbol represents actinomorphic. In the sense, this flower can be cut into vertical plane on any into two equal halves on any vertical plane. So this is the symbol for actinomorphic. And for zygomorphic flowers, here zygomorphic flowers ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಝೈಗೋಮಾರ್ಫಿಕ್ ಫ್ಲವರ್ ಇಸ್ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಕಲ್ ಬರೆದು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಮೈನಸ್ ಸಿಂಬಲ್ ಹಾಕುವಂಥದ್ದು, ಅಥವಾ ಆರ್ percentage symbol we will write. So this represents the zygomorphic flower. So here this symbol represents the zygomorphic symbol. So here in circle ಹಾಕಿ ಒಂದು ಲೈನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ only on this plane we can cut this flower into two equal halves anta heli, or in this plane we can cut this flower into two equal halves anta heli. So this is representing the zygomorphic flower. And then sexuality of flower na describe ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So whether it is bisexual or unisexual. So bisexual anta heli ನಾವು symbolic ಆಗಿ ಹೇಗೆ represent ಮಾಡುವಂತದ್ದು, here you people will write a circle, below that circle plus the outside, above you will write an arrow mark showing like this. So this indicates the bisexual flower. If the flowers are unisexual, so unisexual and there we come across male flowers as well as female flowers. So if we write a circle like this and just plus, so this indicates this flower is unisexual. This flower is unisexual, but it is a female flower. So this plus anta heli barಬೇಕಾಗಿ indicates the female flower. If you are writing a circle and an arrow mark, just an arrow mark, this symbol it indicates unisexual male flower. So if you are writing just a arrow mark here, that indicates the male flower. Okay. ಇವಾಗ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಓರಲ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ. So calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. I told you we will be taking the starting letters for describing the different orals ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ಅಥವಾ different floral characters. But the outermost oral ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ, what is the outermost oral of the flower? That is nothing but the calyx. So the calyx is the outermost oral of the flower. But the calyx as well as corolla both starts with the letter C. So corolla, it is also starting with the letter C. Calyx is also starting with the letter C. As a result, calyx is represented by the symbol K. So calyx, the outermost oral of the flower end, that is represented by the symbol K. So K anta heli bardaga that represents the calyx. The individual units of calyx is nothing but the sepals. So how many number of sepals are present anta heli indicate ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದಾಗ, how you will indicate the number of sepals here? You will write the K here. That means K here, it is the symbol for calyx. At its foot on the right side you will write N. So here N indicates the number of sepals. So ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ sepals ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, you people will indicate. And then so and also ಇಲ್ಲಿ n ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, it is free. So when n is free here, this represents the polycephalous condition. Polycephalous in the sense when the sepals are free, when it is not fused, that condition is called as polycephalous condition. Here to indicate the polycephalous condition, you people are writing K. K K is the symbol of calyx. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು oral symbol ಏನು K. And when you are writing N near the foot of K, N here indicates the number of sepals. As it is free, it is indicating the polysepalous condition. That means the sepals are not fused but they are free. If you write K, N at its foot and N within the brackets, these brackets indicates the fusion. That means this N number of petals are fused with each other. They are fused with each other. So if the sepals are fused with each other, then that condition is called as gamosepalous condition. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ gamosepalous condition, where N indicates the number of sepals here. ಕೆಲವೊಂದು plants flowers ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, below this calyx we can find one more layer which is imitating the calyx layer. It will be somewhat looking like calyx only, but it will be somewhat thinner. So that model is called as epicalyx. Now adike ಏನಂತೀವಿ epicalyx. If you observe the hibiscus flowers, so if this is the calyx region, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ calyx type ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, leafy like structures will be present. So this will be the calyx and this is called as the epicalyx. So the epicalyx will be usually found in the hibiscus flowers once you observe. And if that epicalyx is present, then that is represented as EPI. So EPI here it represents the epicalyx. So which is the next whorl of the flower after calyx? Corolla. So corolla in the sense it is corolla. So next whorl is the corolla and it is actually represented by the symbol C. C anta heli baradre, just C anta heli baradre, this is indicating the corolla whorl. And if we write C and at its foot N, here this represents the polypetalous condition. Polypetalous condition, that in the sense the individual units of corolla is called as petals. So individual units of corolla whorl ಏನಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ, it is called as petals ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. So ಈ ಒಂದು whorl ಗೆ symbol ಯಾವುದು ಕೊಟ್ವಿ, C. And if we are writing C and at its foot if we are writing N, this N it represents the petals, number of petals, and it is written freely. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಬ್ರಾಕೆಟ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, but it is free. So if the N is freely written at the base, at the foot of the C, this condition it indicates the polypetalous condition. If the petals are fused, so that condition is called as gamopetalous condition. How to write gamopetalous condition? C is the symbol for whorl corolla. At its foot we are writing N. So this indicates the number of petals. And gamma in the sense fused condition. So if we write brackets for N, so this brackets fusion is indicated by writing the brackets. So fusion ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ indicate ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ by writing the brackets. So when you are writing the brackets, this indicates the fused condition. So what do we call for that condition when the petals are fused with each other? That condition is called as gamo. Gamo in the sense fused. Poly in the sense they are not fused, they are free in the head. Where C is, N here it represents the number of petals. But inna one condition ಇದೆ in case of this cruciform corolla anta heli ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Let me write that one first. So cruciform corolla ಅಂದಾಗ here the petals will be arranged in the form of a cross like this. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು petal, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು petal, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು petal, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು petal ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, it will be present. That means here one petal will be present, one more petal, here one more petal, here one more petal. So somewhat it is looking like a cross. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಕ್ರಾಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ ಒಂದು ಪೆಟಲ್ಸ್ ಅರೇಂಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ that type of corolla is called as cruciform corolla, and this cruciform corolla is symbolically represented as, what is the symbol for corolla? See here we write, and also we indicate N at its foot. As the cruciform corolla is in the form of X or cross, here we write the cross. So if we write C and at its foot, if we are writing the cross and N, here this cross, it represents the cruciform corolla. And here N, it indicates the number of petals. So here 4 number of petals are present. So here we can write C cross 4. That means the 4 petals are arranged in the form of a cross. So that is called as the cruciform corolla. This can be seen in mustard family. So mustard, sarsaparilla family, we can see Brassicaceae family, we can come across the cruciform corolla. So here, let me write where N is the number of petals. Here N is the number of petals. So after calyx and corolla, we move on to the androecium. That is the male whorl of the flower. So what symbol we can give for androecium? Androecium is the male reproductive structure of the flower. A is the symbol for androecium. So symbol for androecium is A. And in some cases what happens? Infinite number of stamens will be present. So that condition can be shown as A. By writing A and at its foot, we will write infinite symbol. So when we are writing A, capital A, and at its foot if we are writing infinite symbol, this indicates the presence of infinite stamens. Stamens are present. So this indicates the presence of infinite stamens. That means we cannot count at all. Many number of stamens if they are present, then it is represented by the symbol A infinite. So this is the symbol for infinite stamens. In some cases what happens? The stamens are fused onto the corolla or petals. So that condition is called as epipetalous condition. That means, so the stamens are nothing but the individual units of androecium. So I will write A. And petals are the individual units of corolla. So I will write C. The stamens in some cases, they are fused onto the corolla. They are fused to the petals. They are found attached to the petals. So to show the fusion here, we will be writing a arrow mark here. So above these two whorls. So this indicates the fusion. So this is the epipetalous condition. In case of monocots, we cannot differentiate between calyx and corolla. So instead of calyx and corolla, there we can find the presence of perianth. Here we come across the perianth. A single whorl is present, that is called as perianth, and it is represented by symbol P. So here, in some cases, usually monocots, what happens? The stamens are found attached to this perianth, single whorl. So how to write that symbol? The androecium. Stamens are the individual units of androecium. They are found attached to the perianth. So here the androecium or stamens are found attached to the perianth, and this symbol represents the epiphyllous stamens, or they can also be called as epitepalous stamens. Tepalous means the individual units of perianth are called as tepals. Individual unit of perianth, it is called as tepals. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ? We use the term epitepalous condition ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಟೇಮನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, or it is also called as epiphyllous stamens. Epiphyllous in the sense the stamens are found attached to the perianth, so the condition is called as epiphyllous stamens. So let us move on to the innermost whorl of the flower. So which is the innermost whorl of the flower? Gynoecium. So G is the symbol given for gynoecium. Gynoecium ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ G is the symbol given for gynoecium. And here if we write G and N here, the structural units of gynoecium, it is nothing but the carpels. The structural units of gynoecium are nothing but the carpels. Here N it indicates the carpels. And also you know that the carpels exhibits apocarpous condition and syncarpous condition. Apocarpous condition in the sense when the carpels are free, when they are freely arranged, when they are not attached with each other, that condition is called as apocarpous condition. Apocarpous in the sense the carpels are free. So G value at its foot, if we are writing N, that means N here it represents the number of carpels and it is not shown within the brackets. If it is not shown within the brackets, that indicates the free carpels. Free carpels are called as apocarpous. So our carpels enagidalla, it will not be fused. That is apocarpous condition. If we are writing G at its foot N within brackets, the brackets indicates the fusion between the carpels. So different structural units carpels enide, if they are fused like this, so this condition is called as syncarpous condition. So here the word syn, it represents to the fused carpels. Apo, free carpels. Okay. And also here symbolically we have to represent the position of the ovary also. So I have told you with respect to the position, superior ovary, inferior ovary as well as half inferior, half superior ovary can be seen at the head. So how to represent the superior ovary? We write G and write at its foot we will write N. So to indicate the superior ovary, we will place the gynoecium towards the inferior position and above that we draw a horizontal line like this. That means gynoecium is inferior, whereas other whorls like calyx, corolla and androecium, those position will be superior. That means they rise above the ovary in the head. So in the G baradu tale ಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು dash ಇದ್ರೆ, this indicates the superior ovary. This indicates the superior ovary in the sense gynoecium is occupying, this is indicating the inferior ovary. That means ovary is occupying the inferior position, whereas calyx, corolla and androecium are occupying the superior position. If we are writing G at its base N and below that if we are drawing a line like this, this indicates the superior ovary. That means gynoecium is occupying the superior position. From below the ovary, other whorls like calyx and corolla and androecium are showing at the head. So if we write G and if we draw a line under G, this indicates the superior ovary. And how to show half inferior and half superior ovary? We write G at its foot N and at the middle towards the side we will draw a line like this. So at the middle of G you have to write like this, but not on G you should write. You should not write on G, but beside that you have to write, and this indicates the half inferior and half superior ovary. So these are the different symbols used to describe the different flowering plants, and this is very important.